Victoria, the purpose of this exercise was to just introduce you to GUIs and to give you an example of a program that's set up properly so that you can model that in the projects that you're going to create. So the first thing that we want you to do is just to download this Rectangle Math JavaFX jar file. So let's go ahead and do that. And I want to save it in my coursework 1410 my source code. I want to save it in this folder. But I want to create a separate folder just for these files. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it M4-A1. And that's where I want to download this jar file. So we'll save it. There it is. Now let's go navigate to that location. 1410 my source code, and we should have an M4-A1. There it is. And here's the jar file. Now, because this is an executable jar file in a GUI format, if we just click on it, then it will go ahead and run. And it's fully functional at this point. So if I type a couple of numbers right here, hit calculate, then the area and the perimeter will appear here. Clear clears those numbers. If I type in one of these fields, either one of these fields, something that can't be converted to an integer, and click calculate, then this little error message pops up and it says it's invalid for this string WE. We can change this back, calculate, clear. The help screen just demonstrates how to create or how to how to call another screen, in this case another window, and the file close will actually exit the program. So that shows you basically it just demonstrates an executable jar file with a GUI application inside of it. Now the next thing we want to do is to take a look at the files that are inside this executable jar file. So we need to extract them. The easiest way to do that, and there's a number of ways to do this, but the easiest way to do that is just to come up here and simply change the file name, the extension actually, from a jar file to a zip file. A jar file is simply an archive file, just like a zip file is an archive file. And actually, if we take a look at the contents, we'll see that these are the files that are inside this zip file. So what we want to do is actually extract it. So I'll come here, extract all, and I don't want to stick it in a separate folder inside the M4A1 folder. So what I'm going to do is just delete the last part of this long URL. There we go. And then go ahead and extract it so it's right in the M4A1 folder, and here it is. Now let's launch Eclipse and take a look using Eclipse what these files look like and some of the considerations for setting things up properly. So let's take just a minute. And once again, my workspace is going to be my source code. And inside my source code, I'm going to have this M4A1 folder. In the M4A1 folder, that's where I've extracted all the stuff that's in the jar file that we've just renamed as a zip file. So here we go. Launch Eclipse and we're off and running. Take just a second here. Thinking. Here we go. All right. Now that Eclipse is going, notice that we don't have in my source code, our workspace, we don't have that folder here. So what we want to do is to create a project with that folder name. So File, New, and I'm going to create a new Java project, and we're just going to name it M4-A1, and just click Finish. It appears right here, and then inside this folder, there are all the files that we've actually executed. Not executed, but that we've extracted. Now, before we take a look at what these files actually look like, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to come up here to File, New, down here to Other, and select under JavaFX, a JavaFX project, and select Next. In this case, we're just going to call this My Rectangle Math, just like this, and just click Finish. Now you'll notice, since this is a JavaFX file, that in the source folder we've got an application directory or package, and we've got a main.java file and an application.css file. You can actually structure through CSS or CSS file is a way to structure what your GUI will actually look like, and we're not going to explore that in this class. You can take a look at that later on if you'd like to. But I want to take a look at this main.java right here and the rectangle math file right here and show you what the differences are and show you how you need to configure this thing properly so that it actually recognizes your FXML file. So let's take a look at rectangle math.java right here and the main.java down here in the JavaFX project that we set up. And I'm just going to move this over here so we can take a look at both of them at the same time, I think. There we go. Okay. So let's actually move that. Can I move that over here? There we go. This is what I want. Alright, so this is the rectangle math. That's part of this one down here. And this is the this is the rectangle math that's part of this one right here. And this is the main.java that's part of this one down here. And notice that there are some key differences here. First of all, this has the package application because it's in this package, and we haven't set up a package yet for this. I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. The other very important difference is right here. Notice that in the rectangle math file that actually has the main method that gets executed is that this parent root, instead of border pane root, it's called parent root. And we've got this fxml loader.load method that gets called. And here's where we reference the rectangle math fxml file. So this may be what you were missing when you were trying to set things up, because that's not how this works over here. So the default application that's created when you create a JavaFX application or project from within Eclipse doesn't have this code right here. It just starts out like this, and then it references that CSS thing that we're not even going to use at all. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. Right down here. Set title is not over here, but set title is what appears in the title bar of the application when it's running. But notice that we've got scene, new scene root, scene, new scene root. That's exactly the same. The difference here is that it scales it to 400 by 400. We don't do that over here because the scaling will be created by the fxml file when we load that into Scene Builder. It's got stage.setScene. We've got over here primary stage because that's this parameter right here. Over here we just call it stage. Over here it's primary stage. So it's primary stage.setScene. And over here we've got stage.setScene. That's exactly the same. Primary stage show. Over here we've got stage show. So that's the same. And then down here, we've got in the main method, we've got launch and just this argument called args. Over here we've got launch and this argument called args. So the difference here, the primary difference is using this fxml loader to actually reference the rectangle math fxml file, which is the GUI interface that sits on top of this application. So that may have been the thing that you were missing in terms of getting yours to work properly. So this is what we want to do. What I would like you to do is to copy this file and keep it someplace. Just save it someplace. Then when you start a brand new project, instead of using the application main down here, just take this one and use that one as the file with the main method in it, and then just change to whatever your fxml file is. Okay. So let me show you a couple things here that you can do to see how this will actually work. So what I'm going to do is come down here, and inside this application, I'm going to take. Actually, what I'm going to do is right up here under source, I'm going to take this rectangle math.java file, move it right up under source, and take this controller file and move it right up here under source. And notice when I do that, it creates a default package, which is perfectly okay. Down here, I'm going to take the fxml file for rectangle math and move up here in source. Then I'm going to take the fxml file, which is the about page, the additional screen, and move it up here under source also. Now, I'm going to exit out of this one. And now what I want to do is, now that I've got the rectangle math here, I'm just going to come up here and keep my fingers crossed because I think it'll run. And voila, there we go. Took a minute to build it, but here we go. See, the project is running from within this project that we've downloaded. So I hope that helps a little bit in terms of how you link things together. Again, the key is this fxml loader right here. And using this bit of syntax right here to link it to the rectangle math fxml, which is the one that actually demonstrates or that presents the GUI. The other thing that we wanted you to do is just to load these two files within these two fxml files within Scene Builder, so you can see how that presents itself inside Scene Builder. So here we go. This is the About page, About Rectangle Math, and this is the main GUI for the application, which is right here. So we didn't really want you to change any of this stuff. We just wanted you to run the file, download it, run it, and then take a look at the file so you can see how they're configured, so you can see the relationship between this fxml file and this fxml file and how they appear when you actually run the program. So I hope that helps. Have any questions, please just send me another inbox email message through Canvas. Thanks a bunch. Take care.